How big, then, how central a role is the security question playing in this election, particularly for Eastern European countries across the EU?
Hi, Tom. So indeed, that's the central question for especially Eastern European countries in the EU. So we're talking about Poland, but we're also talking about the countries of the Baltic states, so Estonia, Lithuania, and Latvia. In Poland especially, security has been the main topic that Prime Minister Donald Tusk picked up on. He sort of cast himself as the gatekeeper of Europe. He has warned against the threat of sabotage from Russia and Belarus. There's also, and what we're seeing over the recent weeks, there's a pickup in a number of migrants who are illegally trying to force their way through the border with Belarus, so from Belarus, and they are being flown into Belarus from Middle East. So the centerpiece of the campaign for Tusk has been that he's going to build what he called Shield East, which is fortification on the border. They're planning to invest about $2.5 billion in that fortification. So the sense is the government is there to protect the border and the security, and there is a risk of sabotage from Russia in this election. And obviously for Tusk, it's important, and it's actually a change in his narrative, because he has very much been portrayed as weak on defense by the opposition, which he kicked out of the government in the general election in October. It's the third election over the last 8 months in Poland, so there's a sense of fatigue, and Tusk is trying to energize his base, and he has been very blunt about it. He basically said, if you don't want to go to war, go vote, and that message is there, and he's trying to reinforce that this is a very crucial election for Poland and for Europe as a whole.
And if we look to Poland's borders and we look at Hungary, to what extent Hungary and, of course, Orban and his government and the hold-up of funds, to what extent is that a risk for investors? And how is the politics, how is the election likely to play in to the role that Hungary plays, particularly when it comes to aid for Ukraine?
Yes, indeed. So in Hungary, actually, the election is quite interesting in that sense, because it's both European Parliament and local election. But for the first time in a very long time, we are seeing that Prime Minister Orban is facing a challenger. It's a guy called Piotr. He used to be sort of the administration insider. He used to be a diplomat with the administration of Viktor Orban, and suddenly, a few months ago, he turned against them. He became something of a whistleblower for the administration. He went after Orban. He kept talking about the corruption and the weakness of the economy, and suddenly this guy was catapulted into a main challenger for the leader who has been in power for 5 terms right now. So for the first time in a very long while, Orban is having a challenger. He's obviously in conflict with the EU. There is money that's being blocked, and Magyar has been pointing out that obviously something has to change. He's not going to win this election for sure. I mean, his party that he actually is leading right now is going to probably receive about like six seats in European parliamentary elections out of 21 that are going to get there. But as a matter of fact, Orban is facing a challenger for the first time, but he's still trying to portray himself as the one who is making sure that there is peace. That he told his supporters over the weekend in a rally in Budapest that he's the only government, he's on top of the government, the only government in the EU that is making sure that Europe doesn't go to war with Russia because of his sort of because he doesn't support aiding Ukraine. But obviously that's causing a lot of concern among the leaders in the EU. He's holding up aid. A lot of them, especially from the countries in the Baltics, are raising concerns. They are really worried about this, and they're making that hurt.